Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Today is Thursday, June 23rd. Welcome to episode 138 of Simply Cyber's Daily Cyber Threat Briefing. I'm your host, Dr. Gerald Auger, and over the next 30, probably 45 minutes, I'll be delivering the top cybersecurity news stories of the day and providing my expert analysis on each of these stories, what it means to you as a practitioner, so how can you operationalize it today at work, or if you're looking to break in the industry, how you can absolutely just blow the interviewer's mind, knowing more current event and stuff like that than potentially they do. Shout out and thanks to this stream sponsor, the one and only Barricade Cyber Solutions. Cyber criminals have stolen your company's data and derailed your business operations. Barricade Cyber Solutions will help you resolve this ransomware incident and get your business back on track, which is really the goal of the business, right? We as InfoSec professionals, we want to ensure resiliency, continuity, but the business, they just want to make straight cash, homie. So that's why the Randy emote is there for the squad members. I want to remind you, if you hold professional certifications, and you would know if you had ones that required CPs like CISP, CISA, CISM, all these. Simply Cyber's daily cyber threat briefing, this thing that you're at right now is worth a half a CPE each episode. So they stack, so 2.5 a week, 10 a month. So literally just say what's up in chat. Even if you're an introvert and you really don't want to share, just say hi. And that's basically the equivalent of checking into the meeting, and you can get credit for those CPEs. And that way, if an auditor ever pushes back, you can just send them a link to Simply Cyber, send them a link to Simply Cyber's YouTube channel and tell them best wishes. You can look at the last 45 episodes of of the their CPE. I'll see you next year. Membership back. If you're live, love it. I see 47 of us in here right now. Thanks so much for being here. I do enjoy starting my morning with each of you. I see a lot of regular Ms. Julian. Actually, I could say Alexis right now because I don't have my my digital assistant within earshot. So for the next couple of weeks, Alexis, you get a first name call out. Hey, K. Scott Powell, Duffster, Brittany, good to see you guys. If you're watching on replay, hashtag team replay. I see you guys in the comments afterwards when you're checking in, hashtag team replay. I am looking for shirts. I spent like half an hour this morning drinking coffee and looking to make up a hashtag team replay for you all. So stay tuned for that. But you have the benefit of scrubbing all the way to when this promo card changes into news. That means that we've started. So if you want to skip the pleasantries, hop in there. Otherwise, why don't you hang out, grab your coffee. You know, you can hit pause if you're on replay. Go grab your coffee, come back, and it's like nothing ever happened. And let us say good morning to everybody before we get into the news. Okay, so what's up? Good to see you, Steven. Yeah, there's Ripley. You can see Gibbs's butt over there too as well. So good to see you, Yakov, on LinkedIn. Hey, Carrie, always nice. Shane Prevost, good to see you. Happy Thursday. Got the coffee rolling here. Oh, Matola. Hey, Benny. Hey, Carrie. A lot of new members. If you're new to the Daily Cyber Threat Briefing, welcome. I want to let you know that your comments are appreciated. Engage. You can tell already if you're new here that chat is very lively. A lot of great professionals in here. Very inclusive community. I got messages from a couple people yesterday who told me that it was their first time attending the Daily Cyber Threat Briefing and that they enjoyed it, which I loved. And on top of that, they had been directed by their SOC team lead to go check it out. So, you know, people, I ask you, you know, share this with people in your social network, on social media and stuff like that. But really, also at work. If you work with people at work, or if you have a matrix group or something like that, share the Daily Cyber Threat Briefing with them. There is value up in here. Hey, Professor Black Ops. KO Ken, always good to see you. There we are. I see some Twitch action. Good morning. I saw, is this the news cult? The Simply Cyber news cult? I haven't heard anyone say that, but I like that, Merlin Predator. Okay, let me get a couple more sips of coffee and we'll get into it. I'd probably say like 15, 20 seconds. Here we go. Exactly, Kimberly. Hey, Anna Lynn. If you guys watched the live play of me playing the Red versus Blue Threat Sim yesterday, I did do the CMMC level 1 as I said I was. The AI was able to crack me. I pointed out tons of shortcomings in CMMC level 1. Ready? I'll just tell them to you really quickly. There's no incident response capability anywhere in there. There's no awareness training, which is disgusting. Most of the focus is around protection mechanisms with like a zero trust architecture, um, flavor pack dusted over it. Um, but there is really nothing kind of mapped to the detection, respond, and recovery phases of the NIST CSF inside CMMC level 1. And if you think I'm speaking Greek right now, that's okay. Stick with us. But CMMC level 1 does not really provide anything. You really should be striving for CMMC level 2. Next week on the Threat Gen stream, I will be emulating Sandworm, aka I think that's APT 28, whatever it is. It's the Russian um, advanced persistent threat, like their A team cyber capability. I'll be emulating them attacking a manufacturing company. All right, guys. I think we've done enough pleasantries. Let's get into the news. Also, stick with us because we will be raffling off 4 vouchers for the GRC Analyst Master Class later on in the stream. Compliments of Barricade Cyber Solutions. So thanks to them. Stay tuned. Let's get into the news.
From the CISO series, it's cybersecurity headlines.
It's Thursday, June 23rd, 2022. Daycare apps found insecure. The Electronic Frontier Foundation looked into the security used by daycare apps, which are often required when enrolling children. It found that almost all apps lack any kind of 2FA, with one of the more popular Brightwheel apps claiming it was the first partner to offer this level of security. It also found many apps had weak password policies, used undisclosed Facebook trackers, and had clear text traffic enabled. The EFF wasn't the first to highlight these issues, but found that many appers lacked basic emails to send security issues to, and often were unresponsive after sending them in. A previous Australian study found that just 14% of vendors responded to security issues with these apps. The EFF also points out that regulations like COPA don't apply to these applications.
Okay, so a couple of things here. One, um, you know, if you don't have kids, like you can still appreciate this. Okay, so they're basically talking about how daycare apps, maybe you could check in with the daycare, maybe you could transmit like relevant health information, maybe the daycare communicates with you or sends pictures. I know at my kids school occasionally there's like an app that the teachers use, and it's basically like a more of a secure messenger, of almost like an out of band messenger. And the Electronic Freedom Frontier, I believe that's what EFF is. I might be getting that wrong, but I think it's Electronic Freedom Frontier. They're basically kind of like I want to call them like a civil rights kind of cyber um, nonprofit organization. Like basically, they look at a lot of stuff technically to make sure that it's doing what it's supposed to do. It's a great cause. It's kind of not exclusively focused on privacy, but it is got a lot of privacy elements to it. You'll see them at Black Hat. I mean, you'll see them at DEF CON and stuff like that all the time. EFF. So keep an eye out for them. But they looked at this for privacy reasons, obviously, right? Now, here's my thing. Here's my 2 takeaways. One, I bet you, um, I don't want to say any significant amount of money, but I would bet you an amount of money that would hurt but not break me, that these businesses, right? They're daycares, and they probably wanted some solution because people were asking for it. And they wanted some solution to be able to communicate and manage their workflows. And these vendors right here that made those solutions, they were just making a product that served a target market or a target customer avatar, which would be these daycare places. So you got to remember there's a decoupling between the people who are writing the program and the business that's using it. So the business that's using it, they probably don't know about all these Facebook tracking crap and kind of these insecurities. And again, you say MFA, and like MFA is slowly becoming obvious that it's not a silver bullet. It is a best practice. You should absolutely use MFA, but it's not a silver bullet. Okay. So um there's a decoupling between this business and the business that's actually writing. And you got to remember too, the business that wrote the app that does this thing right here, they could take that and throw a different package on it and make it like in like some type of like active shooter app for high schools, right? Or they could make it some type of like summer camp tracking thing, right? So you could track the kids, or the kids could communicate back home with their parents, over some secure message or something like that, right? So it's not the fact that it's a child's daycare makes it a little creepy and stuff like that. But you've got to remember that the company that probably made that solution, they were trying to, make a basic solution and then something that they could put a different wrapping on and send over. So I'm glad EFF caught them. Good for them. I hope that gets straightened out. But this is partially, I don't want to say clickbait, but I'm more likely to click on this one because it is such a vulnerable target, right? Daycare and little children.
Encryption flaws found in Mega. The cloud storage and file sharing service Mega has made a name for itself for its strong stance on encryption, saying its end-to-end encryption means even it can't decrypt content on its servers, even if its architecture were seized by a third party, cough cough law enforcement. However, a new paper from researchers at ETH Zurich found that Mega's system does not protect its users against a malicious server and would be trivial for anyone with control of the platform to perform a full key recovery attack on any user. They also built a proof of concept on how attackers could also insert malicious files that would pass client authenticity checks. The researchers alerted Mega to findings in March, and on June 21st, it began rolling out an update. However, the researchers described the patch as ad hoc and does not fix key reuse issues, lack of integrity checks, and other system-wide problems. Mega said it's unaware of any compromised user accounts exploiting these flaws.
Okay, so this is interesting. So this company Mega, who I've never heard of, they basically offer a service that offers, basically 100% confidentiality. That's what they're arguing. Like, you put your data up there and encrypt it, and nobody can decrypt it. So if law enforcement takes it, they can't decrypt it. I'd also argue that you could say if ransomware threat actors got on and did data exfiltration, they couldn't get it as well. But I don't know if the podcast is saying cough, cough, law enforcement. I don't know about Mega if there's like a large population of criminals using it. Um, but it sounds like some researchers figured out a way to, in fact, get the keys to decrypt it. A couple things that confuse me, though. I'm kind of curious. A couple of things that confuse me. One, like, why were the researchers looking at this? Like, I didn't hear a bug bounty or anything like that. I get that it's nice to do security research and stuff, but this seems like a really specific, targeted, lot of effort, work in order to disprove this thing. Also, I find it funny that since the business is hanging their hat on this concept that they have 100% confidentiality or 100% assurance that your information can't be decrypted, that the chairman or CEO of the company refuses to acknowledge that this attack actually compromises what they're saying. So, like, literally head in the sand type response, but it makes sense. They probably invested heavily in saying that this can't be done. Um, yeah, it is a lifelock move by them. And if occasionally people we talk about lifelock, the real quick as a history lesson for those who don't know, the lifelock was a identity theft prevention company back in, like, I don't know, the mid 2000s, like when identity theft was really popping. And the CEO rented a truck and drove it around Times Square, New York City, and it just had his social security number on on the truck and said, like, you can't steal my identity. And the idea was that, like, he was so confident in LifeLock's service that it couldn't happen, and he got he got his identity stolen like 7 times in a month or something. Like, I mean, it was like absurd how many people hit this dude. So you have to be careful when you make claims in industry that it is unhackable, 100% secure, undecryptable. Like, when you make these kind of ultimate statements, you're very much putting a target on your back. So yeah, be mindful of that.
Microsoft retires cloud facial recognition. The company is pulling public access to several of its Azure Face facial analysis tools, including one that attempts to read emotions. Since releasing this feature, experts have been critical that it's unscientific to directly associate external facial expressions with internal emotional states. This comes as part of a larger review of its AI ethics policies. Microsoft will also retire Azure Face's attempts to identify attributes such as gender, age, smile, facial hair, and makeup. New customers lose access now, and existing customers will lose access on June 30th. Microsoft will continue to use the technologies in its own Seeing AI machine vision aid.
Okay, so this is interesting. Like, this is not new tech. Okay, the fact that you can, um, oh, thank you for the congratulations. I'm not sure, I'm not sure what for, but thank you very much, Maha Devapa. Um, so yeah, that is me in the picture. So, guys, a couple things. One, this AI tech, it's not new. All right, like we've seen this with Azure. We've seen it being done in AWS. There's a bunch of like labs online that you can do. I might even do one. Guys, I have so many Simply Cyber like produce video ideas and no time to do them. I want to do one of these, but the idea is that not only can the AI process and identify this is a human and this is a beach ball, but also you can see that they can begin to identify emotion. And it's kind of hard to read in the screen, but it's basically like happiness, sadness, disgust, fear, contempt, right? And once you start analyzing emotion, you can start playing on people's emotions, right? So if someone's appearing disgusted, you might be able to change like kind of what the AI chatbot is saying, or maybe you use it to inflame certain political positions, right? Like you start, pushing buttons until you get a disgust response from someone, and then you start pushing that button heavily, stuff like that. So it can be weaponized essentially. Now they said they're retiring this in 7 days, which I think this has to have been communicated to people already. But in 7 days, this is going away. But they did say that Microsoft was going to continue to use it for their own purposes. So I guess all I'll say is I don't have a use case for using this right now. But this technology is toothpaste out of the tube. So Azure might be pulling access from it, but the tech is not going anywhere. I would imagine another service spinning up that offers this type of integrations. I can imagine, um, AWS doing it, frankly, but I could see other groups doing it. Machine learning, data science people, this is like right up in their wheelhouse. So like, it's not going anywhere. In fact, I like I said, I really want to do something with it, but I just don't have a use case yet.
Splunk server vulnerability discovered. Splunk discovered a vulnerability in its enterprise deployment servers, which could open the door to arbitrary code execution. The vulnerability ties back to Splunk universal forwarders that send data from a machine to a data receiver. If compromised, these forwarders could be used to execute code on other forwarder endpoints subscribed to that server. There are currently no reports of this being exploited in the wild, and Splunk has released a patch. Now they
Okay, hold on one second. So this came from the MSISAC. We spoke about MSISAC yesterday, right? The Multi-State Information Sharing and Analysis Center. You can't just sign up for that like as anyone. You have to apply and then validate who you are and stuff like this. I don't see a CVE score. Um, they say high risk for large businesses. No surprise. Okay, here's the deal, guys. Where are we? Well, let me get this a better screenshot for y'all. Okay, here's the deal. If you use Splunk, you definitely know you use Splunk. You don't like Splunk isn't deployed by Carl in R&D. Okay, Splunk is a very much enterprise grade SIM solution. They have, I believe, the largest footprint overall, meaning of all SIMs installed everywhere, they have the biggest footprint. They are a behemoth in the space. Uh, and just as a quick side, hey JM, I'm trying not to get spicy, but let me get the sound effect queued up. Listen, okay, here's the deal with Splunk. Okay, let's what is it? Spill the tea? Is that what people say? Okay, so check it out. Oh my God, get out of here. Um, Splunk has the biggest footprint, which is great. If you run Splunk, you definitely know you run Splunk. The problem with this right here, this vulnerability specifically, is the Splunk universal forwarders. Universal forwarders, basically, when you have a huge infrastructure, you don't push all like endpoints don't push everything to the same single server, right? Because you have different sites, and just from a bandwidth and log aggregation and drift and all this other crap, you don't want to do it that way. So what you do is you build it like picture like an org chart, right? So you've got all your endpoints at the bottom, and then like let's say you have a universal forwarder at each location. So all your endpoints point to that universal forwarder, and then that forwarder points to I think sometimes they're called heavy forwarders. I might be it's been a little bit, but anyways, the mid tier one at the site then pushes back to like the HQ one, and that's where they all get aggregated, correlated, and that's what your SOC analysts are actually digging into with the Splunk console interface. So if you can compromise those universal forwarders, which is everywhere in your organization, it sounds like you could execute arbitrary code on anything that touches that, which is a huge attack surface, right? So I will say a couple things. One, if you're running Splunk, you should have already been made aware of this by the Splunk people. If not, shame on them. Two, you absolutely should be implementing the patch, which, by the way, is going to be a super pain in the butt because my suspicion is that you have to touch each Splunk universal forwarder, which could result in downtime. I do not know 100%, but and then third, um, no, there's no third. I guess just as a quick aside, as far as like spicy or whatever goes, one of the one of the there's a thing called vendor lock-in, okay? And every vendor wants vendor lock-in. Vendor lock-in, this is like a macro level issue within the industry. Vendor lock-in is where it costs more money, time, pain, friction, whatever. It's very uncomfortable to switch from whoever your vendor is currently to a new vendor. That's called vendor lock-in, and it's something all vendors want to do because they want it to be easy to get in and very painful to get out. Okay. Now, here's the interesting thing with Splunk. Splunk is so expensive. Okay. And this is based on my experience. This is not libel or slander onto Splunk. This is on my experience and my perspective, right? So do your own research. Whatever disclaimer I need to make here, do your own research. But here's the thing, Splunk is the most expensive one, and they charge by the amount of data they store. A lot of people, SOC analysts, CISOs, whatever, they don't know what logs are valuable and what logs aren't. Guys, we don't like it's very simple in an academic setting to say, give me all the logs, right? Because if you have all the logs, then you can cut them up and do whatever you want and you have full visibility. Well, the problem is you don't need all the logs, right? There's a ton of noise that Windows machines make that you don't care about. But the problem is if you don't do the culling, if you don't do the work to figure out what logs actually matter and which ones don't, you suck them all up, and that takes up a ton of space. And Splunk is more than happy to hold that for you. And I think they charge by the gigabyte. And there's a reason Splunk is, there's a reason Splunk gives out the best T-shirts at DEF CON or at Black Hat, right? It's because they have tons of money. I don't even know if Splunk is publicly traded, but if it is, that's probably a good investment. So, anyways, long story short, huge footprint. Patch your stuff if you're on Splunk. Vendor lock-in. The struggle is real.
Thanks to today's episode sponsor, Optiv.
All right, let's listen to the Optiv commercial from CISO series. Help pay their bills. Thank you.
Modernizing your identity control plane from AD to the cloud is complex. Ralph Martino, who's leading the Identity and Access Management, or IAM group for Optiv, discusses what challenges CISOs are facing in today's ever-changing climate. These include increasing security, decreasing risk, and lowering cost. Learn more at optiv.com/IAM-Microsoft. NSO dishes on European.
All right. So real quick while we got you.
It's looking spicy.
It's looking spicy. Oh, I was supposed to play this thank you card while the commercial played. I made a mistake. Okay, guys. So we're going to I want to stop real quick and tell you guys about the raffle. If you guys want, thank you to Barricade Cyber Solutions for hosting the raffle. We're giving away 4 GRC Analyst Master Class tickets. In order to enter the raffle, all you have to do is type in the keyword into chat right now. The keyword is MFA. MFA. Everybody needs some MFA, right? MFA in their life. So if you want to enter to win, type in MFA, okay? MFA. 3 letters, 1 solution, not a silver bullet. All right. While everybody's doing that, I want to give a quick shout out. Gerald, Auger, Simply Cyber on Instagram. If you guys want, I am trying like a person born in the late 70s. I'm trying to do the Instagram. You can see there's a lot of cool content here. So if you're interested in cybersecurity and you're interested in Instagram, definitely go over there and sub or follow or whatever it is that people, whatever it is the kids do on the Instagram to sound old. Here's a link to it. Definitely give it a follow if you would. I'm trying like heck. Justin Ball, make sure that you don't put the spaces in there. You want all what? There you go. You got it. You got it. All right, guys, let's keep rolling on this. Um,
Usage. The spyware firm's general counsel, Chaim Gelfand, told the European Parliament Committee that at least 5 EU countries have used its software,
hold on.
with NSO terminating one country's usage following an abuse of its Pegasus software.
Hold on.
Chaim Gelfand told the European Parliament Committee that at least 5 EU countries have used its software, with NSO terminating one country's usage following an abuse of its Pegasus software. Gelfand maintained that NSO made mistakes, but also passed up large amounts of potential revenue by canceling contracts for misuse. He maintained that NSO does due diligence in advance in order to assess the rule of law in that country. Gelfand also said it was in favor of creating an international body to regulate spyware, akin to a non-proliferation agreement.
Oh, okay. Do I have a sound effect for this? I don't really have a sound. Like, hold on. I mean, this is close. This isn't really what I want, but listen to me.
It's looking
Okay.
spicy.
I've been saying this for like months, right? And I know you all have been saying it too. Okay, like you make a weapon, right? You're like Lord of War, NSO group. You're making weapons. It's for law enforcement only. But guess what? Cash talks, right? Cash money, homie, right? Play the sound effect, Randy Moss. Cash money, homie. So like mistakes were made. Please, like, come on, dude. And the fact that their argument, their defense is that we passed on a lot of revenue. No, you like I'm speculating here, but my thought process is I'm not stunned that this was being abused, right? People in power want to stay in power. That's a freaking fact of human nature. Second of all, the people that they passed on were probably so far in the realm of like this is a terrible idea for NSO group to be associated with this body that yeah, they left that revenue on the table. I'm sure it wasn't like some, you know, I don't know, like the like righteous nonprofit that was like, "Can we use the Pegasus software?" No, like chances are it was very much a like just a bad group. I don't want to label or speculate on what type of groups, but I'm just saying the revenue that they probably are claiming they left was a bad idea to begin with. This right here is no surprise. And when they say mistakes were made, um I'm telling you, like either they had a rogue sales employee who was just trying to make their Q4 numbers and win the trip to Cozumel, or they were turning a blind eye because the revenue numbers were going up. And guess what? Businesses are in the business of making money, right? There's a reason that there's a nonprofit designation, and NSO Group is not one of them. Um, so yeah, and Red Boy 33, I agree with you. From a pure technical perspective, Pegasus is a work of art. It is a zero click complete compromise of an iPhone. Like brilliant, right? But it just can obviously be weaponized. We're seeing all sorts of stories come out of the Catalina region in Spain, or their political party, like all the people who were running for like high ranking official positions, they were all compromised by Pegasus. It's an espionage tool at the end of the day, and it can be weaponized. And it's not, I mean, it's as close to like a James Bond Q tool as you can get, but it's real and it's being weaponized. My suspicion, there's a lot more of this going on that just hasn't been discovered or reported. Um, because you got to think there's filters on all this crap. But anyways, yeah, whatever.
DARPA finds blockchains aren't all that decentralized. A new report from the Defense Advanced Research Project looking into if blockchains are decentralized found some unintended centralities, leading the authors to believe that many blockchains could eventually have power centralized with a few select individuals or groups. The paper found that cryptographic underpinnings of blockchains are overall quite robust, but it points out that 3 ISPs saw 60% of all Bitcoin traffic, opening the door to these providers having the ability to restrict certain transactions, letting it become a majority voice in consensus of what actually gets written to the blockchain. The report also points out that 21% of Bitcoin nodes run older versions of the Bitcoin client that are vulnerable to attacks.
Yep. Okay, so 100% agree with this. I might actually make a point to read this DARPA report. DARPA is the Defense Agency Research Group for the government. They actually invented the internet, contrary to Al Gore's popular belief. They invented the internet like a million years ago. Where's my restream? Okay, so here's the deal. We talked about this the other day with the Solana or Solenoid coin and how they had to do a revote. Guys, at the end of the day, the concept of blockchain is brilliant, but like everything else, there are vulnerabilities. And while this isn't a technical vulnerability that you can, write a Metasploit script and, hit exploit and hit enter and go get a beer, this is a real shortcoming of it. When somebody or some entity, whether it's a business, a group of investors, or a single super investor at Elon, when you own a huge piece of it, and the way that the blockchain works, and I'm no expert on this, but like when you're trying to commit like a Bitcoin transfer, right? So I'm going to give Kimberly like 4 Bitcoin. There you go, Kimberly. That has to get written to the blockchain, and there's like a whole bunch of people who do math calculations and try to validate the transaction to the blockchain, and that's how like you get gas fees and all this other stuff that's like super complex. But basically, at the end of the day, things have to get written to the blockchain. It's not like when I hit send Kimberly 4 Bitcoin, it just gets written to the blockchain, right? Or because you could abuse that. You have to have independent validators agree that the transaction is what the transaction says it is, and then write it to the blockchain. Well, here's the thing. If you own most of the things that are doing the writing, you can control that. It's your asset. So what this is saying and what is true is that now, even though it's decentralized, if you're only owning slivers of all this, you really don't have any power. And the people who own the heavy hammers of these platforms, they have all the power, right? Look at me, look at me. I'm the captain now. That's what's going on with this thing. So instead of a government, right, at the end of the day, instead of the government owning the decision making for financial policy, it is in the hands of private citizens, furthering, honestly, furthering the dissolution. And this is kind of a big hot take, compliments of Charles Finfrock. This is furthering the dissolution of geographically nation state based political power, right? And I don't want to get too far down the rabbit hole of like, it's not even a conspiracy theory. It's just a reality of what you look at. It used to be like, oh, the country of the United States is the most powerful. They can dictate how we're using energy and what foreign policy is, right? And now a lot of that power, a lot of that influence is in the hands of big tech companies, right? Your modern day technical robber barons, right? So Elon, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, those guys, they can make a lot of influential decisions. And the people who are in the shadows that own tons and tons of this asset that can influence votes and stuff like that, obviously they're going to make the vote go in their own favor every single time. Human nature is to take care of yourself. So just be mindful of that. This is another reason why I stay away from crypto now that I've done my research on it. But you do you, maybe you want to buy the dip, right? Buy the dip. So I don't know. I will be staying the hell away from it and sticking with traditional financial vehicles. Thank you.
Brave Search growing quick, adding customizations. Brave Software announced that its privacy-focused Brave search engine out of beta. Over the last year, it saw search queries grow almost 5,000% to 2.5 billion, with query volume growing 4 times faster than its rival DuckDuckGo, although its rival currently sees about 7 times more queries overall. Brave also announced a new goggles feature is coming to Brave Search, letting users customize how search results are ranked. A white paper shows this, allowing users to exclude things like the top 1,000 most popular domains for a search term, or excluding product reviews with commercial backing. European.
All right. Well, what like, why would you want to limit the first 1,000 best results? Like, I get that you can pay for SEO and advertising, but like the first 1,000, like there's a chance why the query pulled it in the first 1,000, probably because it kind of maps to your query. That seems a little crazy. The sponsored results being filtered out. I can get on with that. Okay, so here's the deal. Brave browser, if you're into privacy, Brave's actually pretty good. Brave is actually made by the guy who originally started the Mozilla Firefox before Firefox kind of sold out, which I don't care about, right? Like when people sell out, it's if like Green Day. Green Day as a punk rock band, they sold out, but guess what? They went mainstream, and I found out about Dookie in 1995 or whatever, and because of it, I'm happy. Love that album. So Brave is from the guy who created Firefox. It's a full featured, very rich browser experience. So if you're interested in privacy, if you're interested in not giving all your datas over to the the tech barons that I referred to earlier in the episode, then maybe you want to check out Brave. It sounds like their search query or their search engine went up 5,000%. Is 5,000% good? Is that something we want? Is to see a 5,000% increase in the use of our product? Yes, it is. So I have Brave. I continue to use Chrome. I think it's just old habits die hard. But I'm like fully into the the Google ecosystem. So I'm I'm plugged into the matrix for for better or worse. But don't sleep on Brave. It's a good browser and it's got a lot of support integrations. So that's the takeaway there. Brave continues to be great.
Police disrupt major phishing operation. Police across Belgium and the Netherlands arrested 9 individuals and conducted 24 house searches as part of a coordinated effort to dismantle the organization. The phishing group sent unsolicited emails, texts, and DMs to victims with links to phishing sites posing as banks where they entered their banking credentials. While not the most innovative phishing scheme, the group stole several million euros from victims with ties to drug trafficking operations. This comes as the Anti-Phishing Working Group reports an all-time high of reported phishing attacks in Q1 2022, surpassing 1 million first time.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to tell you on this one. Two key takeaways for the threat briefing this morning. One, three takeaways. One, I just took a note here. I just took a note on my little like note things. I'm getting a international law enforcement sound effect. I don't know what it's going to be. I'm thinking it's going to be like the classical fanfare, like doo 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 doo. Like I think I'm going to go with that because I am absolutely pants off loving this international law enforcement activity of taking down these massive gangs. Like high five, right? Like this is awesome. Like we're seeing it every week, and that is absolutely total BA. So it sounds like they took down another multi-million-dollar phishing gang. Another thing that's worth pointing out, besides how awesome this is that they said the actual phishing emails and the attack vector and all the threats and crap like that was pretty unsophisticated. The way that I read that, because I didn't see the actual fish, the way that I read that is like probably spelling errors, like very crappy looking domains, not doing a decent job of obfuscating either who the sender of the email was or the hyperlink that they were trying to trick people into clicking on. So, but it still works. That's what I want to take away from you guys. Like I personally always think that like the threat actors have to be super sophisticated and they're doing all sorts of elite 0-day stuff. And in reality, it's all a numbers game, man. If you send out a million emails, which cost $0 basically, and 1% click on it, that's like 1,000 people, right? If I did the math right. So 1,000 people click on it, and let's say 1% of them fall for it. That's 10 people. And each one, you get 30 grand from, right? 10 people, 30 grand, that's 300 G's, right? I don't know about you, but I would like 300 grand. That would make a difference to me. So you see what I'm saying? It's a numbers game. So you can have a crap fish and it still get through. So again, this is a win for us, but I would educate your staff. Maybe use this as an opportunity. You'd have to invert it, but just point out that, hey, this phishing gang, they made, I think they said $24 million last year with a crap email. So, keep your eyes open. You always, like, I guess one thing that I always tell my end users is like, you always have to be vigilant. Like I'm working my ass off to make sure that you're protected, but I need you to also always be vigilant that this stuff can happen, because you could get the email in your personal email. And if you're checking it on your work laptop, which I don't mind, I'm all about, multitasking and supporting the end users. But, if they're sending it to your personal email, it's not going through my email filtering gateway. So I can't stop it. So you need to stop it yourself, right? So be mindful, equip yourself, and just know that this crap happens. All right. That's the deal. Let's see.
It's conventional wisdom that
All right, so that's going to be go. All right, guys. Hey, so we're going to do the raffle, but I'm going to turn the music on. Okay, so this could crap the audio out, and we're going to see. I made some adjustments. I did some toggling. I think it's good to go, but you'll have to let me know. All right, so the music just went on, and my audio should still be good. Let's hope here that that everything is good. I want to remind everybody later today, um, we are interviewing Dr. Chase Cunningham, aka Dr. Gerald, at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, good. I'm glad the audio fixed. I'll go fix around. All right, so I did put the right info up there. It's June 23rd. Oh, God. All right, I don't. All right, so I turn it off. Audio's bad. All right. You're killing me, Smalls. I'm gonna blame Windows operating system. I know it has nothing to do with Windows operating system, but since I'm typically an Apple user and I've been relegated to this Windows operating system, which is actually not too bad. I'm going to blame it on them. Okay, so guys, really quick, Dr. Chase Cunningham, Dr. Zero Trust. If you guys want to come on later today at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll be talking to him. He's a really great guy. He definitely he helps shape federal policy. He is basically the guy that goes and talks to like Congress people and senators and stuff, and helps he helps shape basically cybersecurity policy for the United States. I'm actually kind of curious if he was involved in any of this Biden legislation that just came out recently or last year. I'm putting a link in chat right now for you guys to go check that out. Last year, Biden released an executive memo that included a huge piece on zero trust architecture. Chase may have been involved with that. I don't know, but it's going to be awesome. So if you don't know him, come get to know him today at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Love it. Let's go ahead and do the raffle for the GRC Analyst Master Class. Okay, so if you win, just go to the Discord and DM me. I'm dropping a link in the Discord right now. So just DM me and we'll get you what you need. Ready? Here comes the first winner. Congratulations to everybody that wins. Thank you for everybody entering. And our first winner is Romex. Romex, congratulations, Romex. Nice job. Let's see. Nightbot. Romex has won the giveaway. Okay, let's do the next one. Restream bot won. Well, we're not gonna Restream bot's not gonna win. So we're gonna pick a new winner. Sorry, Restream bot, not today. Lisa LaFleur. Congratulations, Lisa, on winning. DM me in Discord and we'll get you squared away with that GRC Analyst Masterclass. Congratulations. Next winner is Forrest Conley. Subscribe June 7th. So Forrest has been with us for a few weeks. Nice job, Forrest. Congratulations to you. Connect with me on Discord and we'll get you squared away, okay? And our final winner today is Jay Smith. Jay Smith. Connect with me on Discord, Jay Smith, and we will get you sorted out. Yeah, I love it, Lisa. Lisa's pumped up for winning that GRC analyst. So congrats, Forrest, Jay Smith, Lisa, and I'm sorry, our first winner. I can't even I forget the name. It's tough doing all this stuff. Yeah, so if you guys got value out of this, definitely hit the like button. But more importantly, as I say on every episode, share this with your professional network. If you do social media, that's cool. If you're more of a traditional water cooler person, that's cool. Our numbers are growing, which means we're reaching more people. I do watch the metrics on this. It looks like half the people who attend the stream are not subscribed, which is cool. It means new people are finding us and joining our community. But if you are interested in this, we go live every morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to do this daily threat briefing. It adds value. There's a great community here. You can see them all right here on stream. Wait, hold on. What? Yeah, right over there, right there on stream. Yeah, so hey, JM asks how to access the course. If we didn't do it, let me just do this. I put exclamation point GRC in chat. That should drop you a link there. I'll show you guys really quickly, honestly. Give me a second. Anyways, long story short, hit the bell, subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. That's basically the key takeaway. That way you're made aware instantly. Also, if you're watching on LinkedIn, LinkedIn is a great experience, and we appreciate you being over here from LinkedIn. But if you come over to the Simply Cyber YouTube channel, it's a richer experience. You get access to emotes and some fun stuff, and it's just a little bit different in experience. And I think, given the LinkedIn experience or the YouTube experience is a bit richer in experience. So this is the GRC Analyst Master Class login page. You could see here, like when you go to the school, you have to log in, but there's a whole course curriculum. I'll just say this really quick. The GRC course, it's basically a primer to info in IT, right? So basically, what do you need from an IT perspective? That way, there's no prerequisites. Then it's audit, compliance, risk, security awareness, policy. We give you all the tools you need and do labs, and then we do a whole module on how to get a job as a GRC analyst, right? Because what's the point of learning all the skills if you can't go get the job, right? I mean, I guess I've actually been pleasantly surprised. I see some people who are like a tier 3 SOC lead, like, deep into SOC, taking the course and enjoying it, because it actually helps round you out as an infosec professional. Because if you're super pointed on like GRC, I mean on blue or on red, and you don't see the bigger picture of how GRC fits into it, it can be it can hurt you, right? You should understand how everything works in your environment, from an infosec program perspective. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's stream. I appreciate all of you being here. Thank you very much. Congratulations to all our raffle winners. We will be here tomorrow at 8 a.m. raffling off the final 4 GRC vouchers from Barricade Cyber Solutions. Thank you for them for sponsoring the raffle and for sponsoring the stream as well. Go check out barricadecyber.com if you're interested in getting ransomware incident response capabilities set up before ransomware hits you. Yep. Absolutely. Everybody be good. And we will see you hopefully at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today as we do Simply Cyber Live and interview Dr. Chase Cunningham. But otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow. Be good, everybody. Cheers.